All right, Sean, what is the worst marriage advice that people still give?
Don't worry. A divorce is always an option. Listen, if you start with it being an option, it's proof that your heart is not in the marriage. Mm-hmm. It's like you leaving the door cracked open for you to escape when times get rough. And that's not fair to your spouse. So take divorce off the table. Go all in for your marriage and be willing to take the necessary steps to have a full and exciting marriage, but take divorce off the table.
Yeah. All right. So here's one that I've heard. I've heard that marriage is easy when you find the right one. Yeah. Sorry, but there isn't a perfect one. Thank God. I mean, the soulmate concept just really doesn't exist. And so the truth is that God gives us personal choice and free will to decide who we're going to marry. No matter who you marry, it's going to take work to have a great marriage. So yes, it helps to have common interests and goals and desires. But even if you marry your best friend, eventually you're going to bump heads and differences are just going to happen. You're going to have opinions. Someone's going to cross the line and you have to extend grace. Marriage is hard work, but it's worth it if you just take the necessary steps.
Yeah, so the third one we heard is don't argue because conflict is a sign of a bad marriage. And this is false. Listen, marriage can be very hard at times, and this is okay. And it's even normal to have conflict, okay? What makes the difference is learning to navigate through these disagreements and learning to give and receive some grace. Not all conflicts are bad. Sometimes intense fellowships are worth it. It may be about a topic that's near and dear to your heart or a passion, and all of a sudden, you display a little contention, but conflict is okay. And it becomes an issue only when disrespect and anger enters the conversation. And so it moves right from the heart of the matter and we begin to make it about personal insults and we begin to attack one another. But overall, conflict is not a bad thing.
All right, so here's one. Your spouse will complete you. All right, the most romantic line in the 1996 romantic comedy, Jerry Maguire got it wrong when Jerry, declared to Dorothy, "I love you, you complete me." You need to understand that God completes you or makes you whole. He gives you what you need to experience a full life. Your spouse complements and helps you achieve your purpose along life's journey. But God is the only one that can sustain you. Don't believe that lie.
Yeah, so if you feel that you're lacking something in your heart, don't look to your spouse to fill it. Look to the one who created you because he knows exactly what you need and how to give it to you. And so we always say two whole people make a whole marriage. Now, another thing we heard was that it was okay to keep a separate bank account, or more specifically, a secret bank account. Secrets and lies can ruin a marriage. And so as spouses, we must do everything we can to stay honest and open with one another. But if you feel justified in keeping a secret bank account, then you have a big issue with trust that needs to be addressed. Whether you don't like the way they handle money or they may have violated your trust, keeping a separate account, it closes off an aspect of your heart to them, which prevents you from growing closer together. And so ultimately, you're growing further apart. Anytime your spouse doesn't have access to certain parts of your lives, you open yourself for temptation to creep in and to cause further division within a relationship.
So ultimately what we're trying to say is you need to talk to your spouse about your hurts and make a plan together. And whatever you decide, you have to keep being open and honest with one another about everything.